What is up, everybody? It is DJ Martini Midwest Reviews coming at you with another video for my channel. Today we have the 2025 Monster 937 Plus. This is a very cool motorcycle. I have a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about its electronics, some of its customization, a brief overview of everything that I can, come up with here, and just a overall pretty basic video when it comes to reviews. A little bit of showing a little bit of a ride. I'll tell you its performance. I'll compare it to some of the other bikes. I did test a lot of their lineup this year, so I'm super excited about this bike. I'm glad to bring it to you today on my channel, DJ Martini Midwest Reviews. So if you've never tuned in, just know I love to do reviews. Just here to be helpful, do that research for you so you don't have to. Give it to you as easy as possible and leave some links in case you're interested in some of the products that we talk about. So today we have the 2025 Monster 937. I'm super excited. If this is helpful at all to you guys, please like, subscribe, share. Got tons of other videos on motorcycles, electronics, headphones. Just I do everything. Whatever I come across in my life, you might see a review on it. So thank you guys so much. Let's hit 10,000, join the Martini Nation, and let's continue to grow this channel. All right, I got a lot for you, so let's get into the Monster 37. This bike, the Monster, if you've never heard of it, by Ducati, it's been out since 1993. And it's gone through definitely some changes, and even the way you ride this bike has gone through some changes. You know, this used to be a nasty naked bike that you would just roll around town on, and it was fun, fast, and kind of the beginner of their lineup. And that's kind of how it came up. It had the trellis frame, which was a completely made pipe type circular frame, and the whole bike was inside that frame. They've done away with that in 2021, and they've gone with the aluminum frame. It's a little bit different. They said they did that for some, a little bit more performance and a little bit lighter weight, but it's still a beautiful looking bike in my opinion. So the 937 does come out at $13,500. I think it's $13,489 or something. But with some accessories and things like that, you can easily get this bike up to $16,000, especially if you go with the SP, and we'll talk about the SP in a few minutes. So once again, with that aluminum frame comes a lighter, more agile motorcycle with this 937. It does come in 3 colors. It has, of course, the Ducati red. You have an iceberg white with kind of a little red mixed in there. And then you also have this aviator gray. Now this aviator gray is what you see here, but it's a little bit different because I have a customizable kit that we'll talk about, which I think is the most exciting things about the bikes coming out this year, especially on these Monsters, is the customability of, if you want it to look a little bit different, you can definitely get that down with some pre-made kits. So that's pretty exciting. So let's talk about a couple features with this motorcycle. Well, it has the 937 engine. It is called the Retta, and I hope I'm saying that, 11%, and that 11% has to do with the liquid cool 4-valve twin cylinder and the narrower cylinder heads that it has at that degree. So it does have a slipper clutch, does have a quick shifter, which is very great for a racetrack if you want to be on the track and do some things, but it can help on the street, and so it's very cool. 65 pounds of torque and 111 horsepower on this thing, just a little bit under 120. And I've rode some of their Ducatis, like the Deval and the Hyper and some other bikes that have a little bit more horsepower, but this thing definitely hangs in there and still feels very powerful for what it has under the hood or in the frame there. So very cool. Some of the other cool things that you guys probably want to know, and like I said, this is going to be a basic video. There's probably going to be a lot more better in-depth videos, but I just want to give you the basics from a normal consumer that's going to go out there and look at a bike like this, or maybe wants Ducati, never had one, had Suzuki's, Kawasaki's, all those other bikes, and is looking at it. So this is going to be your basic overview and just some things that you might be looking into. And I've owned tons of bikes over the years, from all those that I just said, and a lot of Ducatis as well. So been riding since I was 18. I'm a little bit older now, so it's been many years, been riding for a long time, and I just love riding. So some questions that I know you're going to ask, that I would ask, is definitely, what's the seat height? It comes out with a stock 32-inch seat height, and it can go up to 33, and you can get it as low as 30 with some adjustments, some different seats and things like that. So that's pretty cool that you'll be able to get it. So if you want to get a little bit more on the seat height or a little bit less on the seat height, is pretty cool. It does have a hydraulic clutch that is adjustable, has tons of electronics on this bike. That's the only thing that is a little bit hard to know on the motorcycle itself, is so many electronics on these bikes that they are getting a little bit confusing to ride. You just don't jump on them, turn them on and ride. They have riding modes. They have, you know, anti-wheelie, cornering, ABS, smart modes, power modes, quick shift modes. You can get into the lighting, all kinds of things that they have on this motorcycle in the electronics. It could be its own video. And so I'll go into a little bit of it, but it's going to be very basic. Once again, 6-speed Ducati quick shift, so it's got 6 speeds. And you might wonder too, what is the difference between the Monster and the Monster Plus? Well, on the Monster Plus, which this one is, on the standard Monster, it's going to be missing a few accessories, and on the Plus, it's going to be having some of those accessories. So you'll get a little mini windshield that's on here. You will get the front fairing that is on here. It also has wider handlebars. So they're saying you get the seat cover for the back seat pad there. So you get just a couple accessories, agronomic enhancements as they would call it. But yes, front fairing, wider handlebars, seat cover, and the white. Yeah, I think I got everything there. So on to the next thing. So then another thing you might ask, well, what comes extra with the SP if I want to totally upgrade and go to the SP? Well, the SP comes with definitely a different color scheme, which I will show a picture of. Comes with, of course, the badging SP all over it, the Öhlins forks. You get better suspensions going to go into that bike, bigger Brembo brakes, Pirelli Diablo 5 tires for a little bit more track ready, and then you're also going to get a price tag of $16,000 for that bike. This one, once again, going about $13,500 for the Plus, and about $13,200, save a couple $100 for a standard Monster 937. So pretty cool motorcycle, like I said. And like I said, the biggest thing I want to go into, and we'll get there in just a second, is to get into the customization on the motorcycle. We'll take you inside and get you on the laptop so I can show you a few things with that, and then also show you just around the bike, which we'll do just right next. All right, everybody, we have the 937 here. I'll show you a couple accessories that I put on it and just kind of take you for a quick walk around the bike. So let's just start right at the front here. You got your clutch right here, which is a little bit stiff. It's pretty tight for me, but I'm working on it. It is adjustable. I haven't quite found exactly where I like it yet, but it is adjustable. You got your key in the middle there. You got your lights right here for your high beams, low beams, flasher, horn, selector switch, and blinker toggle. And then it's a toggle up and down to go through your menu, which I'll show you in just a second. We'll go to the other side. You can see here is that kit. This is a customization kit. Very, very cool. We're going to go through that in a little bit, so stand by. But it is actually, these are whole plastic kits, and it comes with the whole fairing. So you're getting a whole new fairing. So that's pretty cool. It is about $500, but I think it's very, very cool. So we can take a quick look at the bike. There's your motor, your frame. It is liquid cooled. Here's your back. I know a lot of people will get rid of that right away. I think the tail light looks sick. Your tire, I believe it's 180 in the rear, 120 in the front, 17-inch rims there. Got your dual exhaust. These are definitely optional. These are red seats, but it does come standard with, you know, black seats. But I did opt to the red. I think it just makes it pop. Very, very cool. And then, of course, this kit, we get the fairings and everything. It's very, very cool. I am going to change the exhaust, but I haven't done that yet. Maybe a future video will go through that. Get that front fairing. Like I said, wider handlebars. You're going to get this little mini windshield, if you even call it that, with the Plus. So something to look forward to there. A lot of people have been changing these lights to a flush mount. I'll show a picture of them real quick, but I do plan on doing that. I have that as well, which will be an option. You got your headlight LED, and it also kind of glows there around. So there's that. Your lights, your hazard switcher, and then this is how you actually start the bike too. So you go down, and then you'll push it down, and it'll start the bike. So it's your switch. Instead of having to switch it actually just down, and then pull it down, and it'll start the bike. I'll show you that in a second. Now, another thing people are going to ask me is about all the ride modes and everything. And like I said, that could be a whole different video, so I'm not going to go super into that. But the one thing that I know a lot of people will ask on here is, if I can get that to focus a little bit, how do I get it at an urban mode for your riding modes? So you got this button right here. We're in there right there. And all you're going to do is hold this button down. And then it's going to take you to this screen right here. And then I can just use this button to toggle up. And we can go through the touring modes right there. So I can go to sport, touring, urban. We were in urban, so I'll go to sport, say, and you just go ahead and push it, select it, and boom, it'll take you into sport. Now, if you're riding, it might take a few seconds for it to switch. Let's see if I can get that to focus. Yeah, right there. You get it to switch, but usually it works pretty good. But yeah, so then once again, when you're in this mode, you just hold the button, and you can switch the modes when you're not on. Now you can see that you have all these different things, ABS. You can go ahead and adjust as well. You're going to jump into your manual, watch some videos, go to your dealer, and get into all that. I'm not going to go through all that, but it's pretty cool. You got your cornering and your wheelie control, and all kinds of things going on there. So I'm going to go ahead and go back, and we're going to go back into, I'm going to go into, I usually hang out in touring or urban mode, and I can just select that, and we're in touring mode. Now, if you go to your settings menu, see how you can switch things up a little bit on tap, lap, DPL, settings. Now this is this is for your riding modes, and you can go into riding modes, and then you can actually select, like say our touring, you can select the engine, how you want the engine to do. Do you want it to go full power? Do you want it to go reduced power, smooth, dynamic? So you got medium, you got high, full power, dynamic, you got low power. You can do all kinds of things, and it will save your settings when you select those. And like I said, so you have a lot of control over what you do. I usually like full power, smooth. I don't want the bike to be jerky. And then let's see, I can go back, exit. So like I said, it does take a little bit to learn all that. It's crazy. And then another thing with Ducati is the shifter down here. They've always been always been hard to find neutral. See, that's what it looks like when it fires up. Found neutral there easily. And then we can go ahead and start it up with the switch here. Like I said, click down. There you go. That is the Ducati 937. I think it's kind of a quick overview there, but a very, very handsome bike. We'll talk about riding and some of those customizations with the final thoughts here in just a little bit. Thank you. All right, everybody, welcome back. And really quick, I just want to get into the Ducati lineup and kind of talk about what they have really quick, just in case you're a novice and you don't know anything about Ducati, and kind of the reason why I picked the Monster. So real quick version of this, I'm going to go really fast, guys. The Desert X and the Multistrada here are your touring bikes. So you can kind of tour. The Multistrada would be more on-road, and the Desert X, of course, would be more off-road, but they can do all kinds of things touring-wise, where you can put side bags on them and all kinds of accessories to get that done. And so they do run a little bit pricier. I think the Desert X are around 15 to 18, and the Multistrada can go all the way up to the high 20s. $1,000. So pretty crazy bikes, but that is the touring models. You do have the X-Deval and the Deval, which are like street rockets for guys that just want to go cruising. They just want to cruise. They want to sit back in the bike, be comfortable, not be leaning over, and just go for a ride. I did own one of these. They are also in the high 20s, but fantastic bikes. Definitely the bike I will probably retire with eventually. The Hyper Motard. I was 25. I owned one, and it is a hooligan bike to the T. Wheelies, torque, fast. You're going to drive crazy on that thing, no matter how you try to stop it. So it is going to get you in trouble, and that's kind of why I steered away from it this time. I rode the 950, and it definitely reminded me of those days. Put a smile on my face, but it is crazy, and if that's the attitude and mentality that you have, and that's how you want to ride, the Hyper is in that category. The Panigale and the Super Sport, those are your race bikes, your track bikes. They're wanting to be on the track, ride fast. Super Sport kind of shares the street a little bit more, but the Panigale is definitely a track bike in my opinion. But you can ride it on the street, which is crazy. So that's kind of where very expensive bikes as well there with the Super Sports. Street Fighter is if the Monster and the Deval had a baby. I think the Street Fighter would be it. It kind of morphed into a little bit of both the bikes. But the Street Fighter, I did look at it, but I think price was the biggest thing for me. Street Fighters run about 15 to 18,000, and the Monster is about 13. So I thought I'd save a couple $1,000s on the Monster, and it was kind of hard to find in my area as well, which was another option for me. If you're a novice rider and you want to get into riding motorcycles, the Scrambler lineup is fantastic for you. You can get an 800cc bike all the way up to an 1100cc that they do make still, I believe. There's a different customizations and riding positions and all kinds of stuff that you can do with that bike to make it custom to you so you can enjoy learning how to ride a bike. And so also, if you just want a really comfortable, easy bike to ride, if you're a more advanced rider, that bike can also do great things for you. So it was a little bit low for me, a little bit small. I felt, in my opinion, actually a little bit big at my height for that bike, but you could definitely make it work. I think it's a little bit more of your novice to intermediate riding, but that's kind of where we're at there. I, of course, chose the Monster just because it fit my category of. They've changed it a lot. It feels, that used to be the novice bike, but now I think it's more of an intermediate bike in their lineup. It can be geared down to be a novice bike, but the way it is really an intermediate bike in my opinion. All these bikes are, in my opinion. If you're riding a Ducati, besides the Scramblers, in my opinion, you probably have had a little bit of riding experience, in my opinion. So if you're jumping onto a $13,000 bike or more, so. But the Scrambler is definitely your more novice coming up, depending on if you get the 1100. But the Monster, like I said, can be. You can dial it down, or you can, hooligan it up. So it's a little bit of both, and that's kind of why I went with the Monster. Let's go into the customization of these bikes, because I think that's the really fantastic part of these bikes. So we got the design here, but I want to go to customization, and we're going to go down here, and you can kind of see. Now, once again, these bikes come in some colors. They come in red, your Ducati red, your Iceberg white, and a little bit of red, and you get an Aviator gray, which is what I owned. Now, I did put a little kit on mine, and so here's the kits that you can get. And so now this is not just a vinyl wrap. This is a complete kit. So you're going to get all these plastics. You're going to get the bottom fairing, the top fairing, the rear fairings, the cover for the seat. You're going to get the tank cover, and all these fairings. They're all plastics. It's not a vinyl wrap kit or anything like that. You're going to get new plastics on your motorcycle, and so the kits can range from $400 to $800 depending on what you're getting. They're going to cost a little bit more the more fairings and everything you're going to get. So very cool that you can customize it. I was very close to getting this kit here, the black and the blue. But the blue is fantastically like sky blue, vibrant. The picture doesn't even do it justice. You have to see it in the shop. It is fantastically blue, and I almost got this kit. Very cool kit there. The yellow I'll show you later because it's not working here. It's showing the Monster Pixel here. And the Monster Pixel is kind of a snakeskin look, I would say, with a little bit of red. So you can kind of see that one here. And then you have the Monster GP, which is kind of a tiger stripe effect with different kinds of reds in it. Is how I put it. The yellow will go down here. Here's, you can kind of see all the different lineup here. You saw the yellow, very bright yellow, and it comes with all the fairings, like I said, upper and lower there. Kind of see what the yellow looks like. I have a kit on mine, but it didn't need like all the fairings. So let me go, sorry, I went to the wrong thing. Let's go to this one right here. Kind of see it here. Here is it is called the Monster GP right here. And so it has this effect looks very, very cool. But I didn't get it still matched very well with the Aviator Gray with the bottom fairings, the wheel fairing as well. So I didn't need all the pieces, and so that's why it's a little bit cheaper at around $400. But looks very, very good on my motorcycle, and especially with the customization with the red seats and everything that you can do. My bike came out really, really good, and I'll flash a picture of what mine looks like, but very cool. A couple extra accessories. You can see on this bike right here, it actually has the flush mount lights on it too. Let's go ahead and wrap this up, guys. Let's go into pros and cons and final thoughts. Pros and cons. Pros for everything that we talked about. Don't even have to go into that. But pros for me was it did fit my build, how I wanted to ride. These are all questions that you need to ask yourself. How does it fit my build? How I want to ride? How I feel on it? The performance of the bike? How I physically can move the bike around, moving it around the garage without it on, because it's a little bit different moving a bike than just riding a bike. It's super easy to ride the bike sometimes, but it might be hard to move it out of your garage and the weight and everything. So everything fit very well for me. And so all pros for me. I love the technology on it to make it tame or make it a hooligan bike, like I said, with the electronics in it, the ABS, the anti-wheelies, the smart modes, the power modes, the quick shift, the 6-speed hydraulic clutch, and just everything is what I wanted. I love the customization. That was a big part of it. I love the price. I love the price point at $13,500. Was great for me because I was actually looking at a Street Fighter too, but it was hard to find exactly what I wanted, and so it worked for me as well. So very, very cool motorcycle. Now I do have a couple negatives. The negatives is learning that computer is very frustrating. Learning how to navigate the control. It works really good. It's just you have to learn how to navigate it, and that's a big step. You got to go to the manual. You got to think about it. You got to play around with it. You have to test it. You have to ride this bike many times in different modes and everything to get everything right. And so that could take some time. It's not just a bike you jump on and ride and it works the same every time. No, because you can change it. So it's a positive, but at the same time, it's a negative because it takes time, effort, trial and error, and all those things. And so some people might not like that. They just want a bike they can jump on and ride. And this one, you can adjust it so much that it could make it very different. So can be a negative or a positive, how you want to take it. It's kind of a negative because it was a learning curve for me to learn. Next thing is that engine with liquid cooled gets super hot and it feels like it's blowing the air right up your crotch area, and it's super warm. So if you ride this bike, I would always recommend wearing your gear, wearing boots, wearing pants. It's not the kind of bike that, I'm guilty of it, grabbing a pair of shorts and riding it with a pair of shorts, because that engine gets very hot and it blows the air right around that area. So wear your gear, wear pants, and ride safe with it. Now, also on this left-hand side, it has a cooling cable right here, a hose, and the hose actually sticks out pretty far. And so once again, it gets super hot. And if your leg touches that, which mine kind of bumps sometimes, it's hot. And so if you don't have pants on, you're going to get burnt. And so that's another negative. I don't like the design of where that hose is. I wish it could have been smaller or changed or something like that. But it is what it is. And so it's there. So be careful with it because it gets super hot as well. Other than that, guys, those are the only negatives I have it. Other than that, I really love this bike. Did change the mirrors right away. You guys saw that, and put some extra little things on it. But the customization is awesome. And the final thoughts on this is definitely 2 thumbs up. I love the price, I love how it fit me, and I love how it rides. So very fun for street driving or interstate driving or whatever you want to do with it. You can definitely adjust it and make it right for that purpose. So whatever you want to do with it, you can, and that's kind of why I love it so much, because you can just make it however you want for all kinds of scenarios. Looks fantastic with the customization as well. Another reason I love it. And the price point was really exceptional as well for all you're getting. So very, very cool motorcycle. It's very changed since I've known it, since, you know, the 2000s and 2010s. In the 2020s, it definitely changed a lot, and it's a lot different motorcycle if you haven't stopped in and taken a look at a Monster. So check out your nearest dealer and see what they can do for you if you're interested. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been DJ Martini Midwest Reviews. If this is helpful at all, give me a like, subscribe, share, join the Martini Nation. I'm getting tons of views, but you're all not subscribing. So please give me a like, subscribe if this is helpful at all and fun. All right, thank you guys so much. It's been DJ Martini Midwest Reviews. We'll see you really soon on my next video or